everyone. I'm Noonie with Noon and Wilder, and I'm here for Story Snacks. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I'm doing and read something to you today. So I think the first thing is the lesson that I need to have the chair set up. Ahead of time, I thought I was going to do it from my easy chair, and I'm actually not. So I'm Noonie of Noon and Wilder, and I'd like to welcome you to Story Snacks. This is our Saturday morning ritual where I read a little fiction, share a little magic, and invite you into the worlds that we're building. Today I'm reading from Bird in the Hand, which is a short story I co-wrote with Rachel Wilder for the Love Me in Vegas Kickstarter anthology. We just got the rights back on December 31st, so this is the perfect moment to bring Silas and Knox out into the light again. This story is set in the same universe as our upcoming novel, As the Crow Flies, and it follows Silas, a shy, nerdy crow shifter, on the day he finally gets a chance with the raven he's been crushing on all summer. It's sweet, it's a little flirty, and it's full of corvid energy. I'll be reading the first part today, and I'll continue the story on January 17th. I'm doing Story Snacks this year because I wanted to show up more fully as an author, not just on the page, but in my voice, my presence, and my connection with you as the reader. Reading out loud helps me to slow down, breathe, and remember why I write in the first place, which is to share stories that help make people feel seen, comforted, delighted, or just a little less alone. It's also part of my 2026 intention to lean into my creative life with more joy and less perfectionism. So this is me showing up as I am, one small story at a time. You have someone tall, blonde, and handsome in your future, the fortune teller assured Silas. Her long silvery hair fell in curls halfway down her back. Even obscured as it was by several silky veils, what he could see of it sparkled in the lowered lighting. His attempt to abort his snort of laughter was only semi-successful. It figured he'd get the canned response. He wasn't sure why he expected anything more. Silas Brooks had come to the carnival that day on a whim. Crow shifters didn't typically hang out with a bunch of raven shifters, but Silas had a secret. He liked one of them. And when the opportunity came to spend time with him and his friends, Silas jumped at the chance. He cocked his head. Isn't that supposed to be tall, dark, and handsome? The older lady tossed her head back, the beads on her shawls clicking as they moved, and raised an eyebrow. No, sweetie, he's blonde, I can assure you. After all, I am the professional. Silas hesitated. The raven shifter Knox Kramer was tall and blonde. Knox was actually waiting for him outside, but that was crazy, right? Unless, did she spy on them while they waited in line? Yeah, that must be it. He glanced around the interior of the yurt. He'd only ever seen them on documentaries about Mongolian cultures. He'd seen a person like this. Numerous colorful cotton blankets, scarf draped the small table, and there were 2 chairs. The chairs were average folding camp chairs under the artsy camouflage. His butt told him that. Silas cocked his head. I'm not really sure that fortune telling at a traveling carnival constitutes a professional career, ma'am. Lord knew what made him say that, since it bordered on being rude, but he sensed she had a good sense of humor under her costumes. Besides, something in him wanted to believe her. She laughed and let go of his hand. She'd been reading his palm and lifelines, and her hands left an impression of warmth behind. Tell that to the IRS and my accountant. She gestured to the ceramic pot sitting on a warming plate next to her. Do you want a cup of tea? It's a special herbal blend. He huffed out a breath. It did smell wonderful. I paid for the palm reading, not tea leaves, ma'am. It had been the cheapest choice. She had 3 options: palm reading, tea leaves, and tarot cards. She waved a hand at him. Oh, pish. I'm not a madam. Call me Margaret. She turned in her chair and poured him a cup and then one for herself. Setting it in front of him, she leaned back. Listen, the man in your future is blonde. He's close, and if you continue to waffle, you'll lose your chance. Already you face some challenges because he's a raven shifter and you're a crow shifter. Uneasiness raced up and down Silas's spine. How did Margaret know that? Wait, could she really be a witch and legit? His inner crow stirred, ruffling his feathers. Yes, she murmured. Her gaze seemed to grow in his vision, her eyes penetrating. Were they blue or silver? He licked his lips to get enough moisture to speak. I didn't say that out loud. Sweetie, you didn't have to. She took another sip as he gaped at her. You care deeply for him, but you lack the self-confidence to approach him directly. You'll graduate and regret wasting this year. 10 years from now, you'll meet him again at your class reunion, but by then he'll be older and jaded and you'll be desperate. Things might not work out with such an imbalance in place. Margaret leaned forward, holding him in her spell. Right now, you're both students and on the same level. Outside of Volare Academy, you'll be in 2 different clans and states, separated by your species and life experiences. He winced. Desperate? But she was right. Knox lived in Bellevue, Washington, and Silas's home flock was in Portland, Oregon. There wouldn't be any real reason to keep in touch or even run into each other. They were friends and classmates now, but Knox ran with the cool crowd and Silas with the nerds. They'd only gotten this close because they'd been in the same study group for a few classes. But how did she know that he attended Volare? How did she even know about the Avian Shifter College? Silas had just spent the entire summer missing Knox like crazy. Knox had interned at his cousin's business conglomerate in Bellevue. Silas helped his grandparents with their vegetable garden. Now that they both returned to Volare for their last year, Silas couldn't imagine a better time to start dating. Already, he feared they might have drifted apart. Knox inviting Silas to go with Knox and some of his friends to this carnival had been an unexpected boon. So, what are you going to do, Silas? Margaret leaned back in her chair, cupping her mug in both hands. She exuded a deep, deep sense of calm that Silas envied. That's the question, isn't it? Aren't you supposed to be all mysterious and vague? He took a sip, trying to emulate her serenity. The rich flavor filled his mouth and burst on his tongue. She rolled her eyes. You will waffle for the next year if left to your own devices. You need to think about whether you really want this raven in your future. Better yet, in your bed. She winked. Geesh, kind of forward for an old lady. Margaret gave him a saucy look. She put her cup down and flapped her hands at him. She reminded Silas of his grandmother when the wild crows bothered her green beans. Go on now. You're not getting any younger. He huffed a breath. You're one to talk. You're what, like 60? Now she gave him a mysterious smile. Far older than that, little chick. A shiver crawled up his back and around his right ear. He inhaled against it, unsettled. It's not that he felt any hostility from her, actually quite the opposite. He felt as comfortable with her as he did with his own grandmother. She stood, and he hurriedly put his cup down and let her usher him to the door flap. Make your move, Silas. Today. She gave him a firm shove outside. A few feet away, Knox waited for him. His blonde hair was tousled and growing out, his bangs a little too long. His dark blonde roots and eyebrows framed his face and made their gray stand out. He wore a dark pewter shirt and heavy silver necklace with little lightning bolts on it. His jeans seemed painted on, highlighting his muscular legs and perfectly round ass. Silas came over to him. You want a turn? Nah, I'm good. Knox stepped closer. You okay? You didn't spend much time in there. Do you feel like you got your money's worth? The old woman paused in herding the next person in line into her yurt. She arched an eyebrow at Silas and winked. I can honestly say that I really did. Silas looked right at her as he said it and then glanced around. Where are the other guys? They wanted to try that rickety-looking tower ride, so I sent them on ahead. Silas looked at him sideways under his lashes as they started walking. You waited for me? Of course I did. Knox sounded startled to be asked. Silas could barely contain his excitement. His inner crow preened. Perhaps this was a sign that Knox felt more for him, to choose Silas over his buddies. Could the old woman be right? Behind him, Silas heard a muffled, yes, as they walked away.